Our first review of the day is going to be for a spoiler review here for the film Companion. This was a film starring Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher. Sophie Thatcher, who we just recently saw in the movie Heretic, there, starring Hugh Grant, which we very much
Mhm.
liked her in that as well. She's very good. And she's also been in many other things. She was in Book of Boba Fett before. She was in
Mhm.
Yellow Jackets as well. She's been in quite a few things. And Jack Quaid, he's been pretty much everywhere. The Boy,
Mhm.
voice of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, Jack Quaid is very much everybody's favorite nepo baby.
yeah, he's coming up there. He's in a lot of stuff there. He's been in so much stuff you would think he was in the cast of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's been in so many things, but yes, he's also been everywhere there. So yeah, I did a review for this last week. There, liked it very much. Nick, if you want to give kind of a basic review of it, general thoughts, and we can get into spoilers there. What are your thoughts on Companion?
Okay, so I didn't really have a lot of expectations for Companion going into the theater. I felt like very much kind of the opposite lesson that they learned from Barbarian, where so much of that movie it works so well when you go in cold, and you didn't really get that here. Even though they did spoil probably the biggest reveal is that Sophie Thatcher's Iris is a robot. I still feel like the movie works even knowing that because every like bit of dialogue they have in relation to Iris, like the conversations she has with Jack Quaid with Megan Surrey, who we just saw in It Lives Inside about a year ago, all of it still works and all the dialogue kind of takes on a double meaning when it's a conversation with Iris. And even a second look with the other robot character, Patrick, which I think his and Eli, played by Harvey Guillen, I think their dynamic took on a whole different meaning once I watched this a second time because I saw this first by myself, and then and then immediately after I went home, I said, "Babe, this movie was awesome. We got to go see this together this weekend."
Mm, okay. So what will be your rating for it?
Ooh, this movie, I feel like it is such a delightfully well made science fiction movie. And I was having this conversation with my partner. Is like this movie, it all of its tropes and its trappings, it's all been done before. The allegories for domestic abuse that are in the relationship between Josh and Iris, the uh, questions and conversations about can artificial intelligence be human? Is if something can think and feel, is it a living thing and should we treat it as such? What are the kind of lines that we have with AI? They've all been done before, but in much darker and much more heavier material stuff like Black Mirror, like Ex Machina. But here it's tackling that subject while also being madly entertaining and incredibly funny. Like their dialogue this here, I think it does get a lot of the jokes out of the way, especially when it comes to she is essentially a sex bot, but it's still funny throughout the whole movie. And this was just a great old time. I saw the movie twice, once by myself and with my partner, and I had a blast both times. I think there's like little things I would have tweaked here and there that are keeping me from giving it this cinema, but this is very, very high peak for me. I love this movie. This is my favorite movie of the year so far.
Okay. And did she want to give a basic review and kind of give
Mhm.
a rating for it?
Yeah, let me ask her. Honey, do you want to just appear off camera and talk about like what you liked about the movie?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, you don't gotta be on. Here, let me just move the mic more in her direction.
Okay.
Um,
You gotta,
I
you gotta,
really,
you
I
gotta
mean,
speak more into it. Yep, there you go.
I mean, I really thought that the trailer would ruin the movie for me because I've seen so many times where trailers have just like ruined movies and just spoiled it for me. But I think honestly, it was one of those times where that really wasn't the case, and I just went in like still like feeling like I knew nothing about that movie and just like having a great time with it. I think that whole AI companion has been done before, but I think they still did it in a really just funny, like interesting way.
Okay. And what would be her rating for it there?
Oh,
Like,
rating? I
so
think it would be like, I don't know if I would put it cinema, but I think it would be peak, like a really good peak for
okay,
me.
gotcha. All right. So
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah, we saw it as because very often she'll come with me to a lot of the movies, especially if it's something that she's really interested in. But I think our schedules kind of like didn't line up for Thursday when I usually see the movies to do the streams. So that weekend, that was like our date night, and it was a great old time.
yeah, okay. So 2 peaks from you. All right.
Mhm.
So like I said, get into more of a deeper spoiler talk with this because it's kind of a little hard to do that just in a regular
Mhm.
review there. I think also I gave it a peek as well in my
Mhm.
review. Liked it quite a bit. It's one of my early on favorite movies of 2024. I mean 2025. I'm sorry. I'm still stuck in 2024. 2025 there. And yeah, I'm making a list there. Usually I like to do that on Letterbox. Just kind of make a list of early movies I like quite a bit. This and Presence are on the list so far.
Mhm.
Okay.
I,
So
I also saw Presence. I like that movie a lot, but I think if I had to compare and contrast, I think Presence works better as like a film school experiment than I think it does a movie. I feel like a lot of the tricks work to the movie's benefit, but also kind of its disadvantage because it's done through all these like long singular takes. So if an actor like flubs the line or if the performance doesn't really work as well, then you really have no way out.
hmm, yeah. So so the big kind of reveal in this movie, like you mentioned, is that Iris is a robot. She's an AI companion bot that, hence the, title of the film, Companion. Talking about the movie in a regular review, I didn't know how much of a spoiler that was. Like you said, maybe
Mhm.
you could pick it up if you've seen the trailer. There's also the
Mhm.
poster of the movie where she's got the completely white eyes in it as
Mhm.
well. So that could be
And
also,
also even the character's name Iris is Siri spelled backwards.
yeah, so yeah, you even got that, the levels to it is deep. So yeah,
It is, yeah.
and Trini just realized it.
So this is the poster right here as well with the kind of wide eyes
But
there.
it could be demon shit.
Yeah, it could be
Could be.
that.
It's kind of whispering. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
it's not outright deceptive. Like I think one of the posters for Gone Girl like had Rosamund Pike's like dead body and Ben Affleck cuddling her. I don't know if that was like in the U.S. market.
I never saw that poster. I never saw that poster myself.
I
But
think I might have seen it on like I think I was like traveling in the Philippines at the time, and it was like at one of those like bootleg DVD stands
this
that you
one right
see.
here.
Oh, oh yeah, this poster that's just lying its ass off.
Okay, yeah, looks like where she's like a corpse on a table
Hmm.
there. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's the big reveal in it. When I did the regular review, I did say
Hmm.
that she is a robot. I don't know how much people knew that coming into it or not. But yeah, so she is one, and she in this world that we see of companion, people do have these type of robots. They do a variety of type of
Hmm.
things with them, like fuck them,
Oh
But yeah,
yeah,
but
and
then
of course, whenever there's like a conversation about like companion robots, and I'm glad the movie also kind of addressed it in just like a throwaway line when you got the two lab techs that come in. It's like there's a world where people like chain these companion bots up in their basement and torture them or like use them for target practice, which I guess that's kind of the movie's point is that no matter how human looking or human like these robots are, we'll still find ways to fuck with them because we're fucked up as a species.
yeah. And you mentioned I also talked about that as before, I mean, this is not a really new concept, the whole AI
Mhm.
thing, especially now, and there's tons of movies. Even just that this was a movie that was on my worst of list last year, which was this film.
Oh,
Subservience.
Subservience, which just by casting Megan Fox as the robot, you know exactly what kind of movie they are making.
You know, and usually a lot of with these kind of AI movies, try to do is a lot of it is commentary, like what a lot of
Mhm,
sci-fi movies are about society, about our relationship with other people, about the kind of broader aspect of that. And with this movie, with the Jack Quaid character, the more you learn about him and kind of his whole plan and goals. So the big reveal of this movie not only is that she's a robot, but that there's a whole kind of master plan put into place of these group of
mhm,
friends who are visiting this guy and his girlfriend at this lake house.
mhm.
And then
Oh, no, yeah, yeah, visiting Sergey, who's played by Rupert Friend, and Kat, who is Sergey's side piece.
yeah, okay, who's Megan, yeah, Megan Siri there. So yeah, they are this couple. He's this really wealthy Russian guy, and then
Yes, which that was probably the funniest line in the whole movie because even especially on a rewatch, I finally clocked it. It was like, "My fingers are in many pots. It is dirty business."
mhm, and then you don't know exactly what he does there. It's like at first
It's
it's
like,
kind of
yeah, it's like Cat implies that he's like a Russian mobster, but later in the movie, it's like, no, he's a fucking dirt salesman.
yeah, he just made his money the honest way, you know what I mean? But he just likes to keep that kind of appearance that he's, I guess, this really thug kind of guy there, or maybe it's just discrimination because he's Russian, so you just assume he's a criminal. But yeah, so the Megan Siri character, the Jack Quaid character, they concoct this plan to have the Iris, the robot there, to kill him, and he's able to like mod her, which is basically he's able to
Mhm.
change and alter her settings.
Yeah, because of course, when you have these robots, a company that sells them is going to make sure they have like Asimov's three rules of robotics. It's like, yeah, don't harm people, don't harm other robots.
Yeah, don't make sure it's not super intelligent so they can, like,
Mhm.
realize, like, "Wait, why the fuck am I taking orders from you? I can just take over the world." So you do have that. So they limit the amount you could do that. So he went in, altered the settings, and then, increased her self-defense mechanism, and then that caused her to kill Sergey, and then so that was all part of the plan that they were gonna blame it all on her, saying, like, "Oh, she malfunctioned," and everything like that, and then they could just
Mhm.
take all his money and then run away. Now the 2 other friends that there at the lake house. Harvey Guillen, who plays Eli, and then you also have Lucas Gage. People might know Harvey Guillen. He's the character of Guillermo in What We Do in the Shadows. People might know
Mhm.
him from that. And then Lucas Gage, who we also just saw recently, he was in the horror film Smile 2 as the
Mhm.
drug dealer. We also saw him there.
Yeah,
So
as the strung out drug dealer who is having a really shitty week.
yeah. People might see him in the tree. He's the one that's smashing the weight on his face. He's that guy.
Mm.
So he's there. So the 2 of them, they didn't know anything about this plan. So they kind of
Mhm.
go like, well, since we know about it now, we're going to get all right. We want cut of the money. So we're gonna, we want this.
Yeah,
Um,
which is it's like a yeah, split four ways. No, split three. I mean, Patrick doesn't count. It was like, dang, and that was because the movie, as you know, dark and as serious as the subject matter gets, the movie is fucking hilarious with dialogue.
yeah, the movie is funny, and this is written and directed by Drew Hancock. And at first, I thought the marketing kind of leads you to believe that it's because it's saying from the people that brought you Barbarian. So I thought it was from the
Oh,
director of
it
Barbarian.
was nah, it was literally from the studio that brought you the Notebook and the creator of Barbarian, which I'm now realizing is a robot pun.
Yeah, so I thought yeah, so I was kinda under the impression that it was actually
Mhm.
the director of Barbarian, who was, Zach Krieg, I think was his name,
Yeah,
or
Zach Kreger,
Gregor.
formerly of The Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah, but yes, this guy Drew Hancock, who doesn't have, much of a resume there.
Yeah,
He's been a lot of a writer on some things there, and I think this is his
yeah,
first
this is
feature.
his first feature film.
Yeah, and I think he did a really
Yeah, he was a
decent job.
writer on yeah, he was a writer on Suburgatory and he was a writer on Blue Mountain State.
I think I've seen Suburban. I think I've seen that show. I like that show,
It
Suburgatory
was all
there.
right.
Yeah. So yeah, they get whipped up in the plan, and that's when you also realize that Patrick is another companion bot. He's one for the Harvey Guillen character, Eli. And then that gets into some more stuff because you realize as they start talking more that Patrick is an older model robot,
Mhm.
I guess there, and then also he's been with him so long there comes a point where I guess these robots figure out they are robots themselves, and they kind of become self-aware of
Mhm.
that. And then it also kind of the movie kind of brings up conversations of, these memories, even though they're implanted memories, these memories
Mhm.
are real to these bonds. What did you all think about that part of the portion?
Yeah, me, I think Eli and Patrick's relationship is probably the most fascinating thing in the entire movie because with the with the character Josh, and especially in like the early scenes of it before we get the reveal that she's a robot, you see that he's making her carry this heavy ass suitcases up to the lake house. He's like really treating her like shit. He's like being a very like inattentive partner and boyfriend versus the whole relationship with Patrick and Eli.
Mm,
And you get to really see the differences in how and the kind of people and partner that both of those characters are because they say it in a line. It's like Eli could have easily upgraded Patrick. He could have gotten a different model, but I feel like Eli, even down to the backstory that he picked, it was a really cute meeting at a party and something that even in the like little dance segment, you could see that Eli was kind of messing up the little dance routine that they were doing versus because later in the movie after Eli dies and Josh takes over Patrick and just reboots him and like steals and implants himself in that memory and he does it like perfectly. Because like even he picks like the lamest origin story, which is the dropping oranges in a grocery store, which sounds so lazy that he even like says, "Yeah, I just like picked it out of a random drop of meat cubes."
mm. Uh, what does your partner have to say about the meaning of the film and just
Mhm,
overall the relationship between Jack and Iris compared to Eli and Patrick?
mhm. Yeah, one second. Let me get over to you. Yeah. So, yeah, Josh, can you repeat the question? I had my headphones plugged in.
Okay.
Okay.
So the question is, so what does your partner think about the meaning of the film? Like, what does the film have to say about relationships?
Mhm.
Especially the relationship of Jack and Iris compared to that of the relationship between Eli and Patrick.
I think it's a what does it have to say? Well, that's a hard one. I mean, I think what it does show you is like the like obsession versus like what love is.
Mhm.
I think that's there's so many things in this movie that they cover that which makes it like such a good movie to watch. It covers like so many things. I mean, what does it say? I think it just shows like to me what I got from it is like toxic relationships and
Mhm.
how that could just I don't know could be like a really like bad thing where you're just letting someone just like
Mhm.
control you. And I mean, you see at the end where she couldn't even like shoot Josh because she's still at the end of the day going back to like
Mhm.
you know how much she like loved him or like her memory that he had made up. She still he like I don't know. I mean, I think it just shows like toxic relationships.
Mhm. And yeah, and that's kind of what my takeaway on the movie was is that it's really a great metaphor and an analogy for like a very toxic or a very abusive relationship between Jack and Iris versus a more healthier dynamic between Patrick and Eli.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Let me. I gotta maybe refresh my page. I think I'm stuck right here.
Oh, damn.
Okay. Uh,
Damn. Oh, you broke Josh's page.
Huh?
Oh, damn. I'm still live. Ah, well, looks like I'm running the show now, people. Ah, damn it. Now he's back.
and don't get too cocky there. Back.
Damn it.
So yeah. So you say the kind of reflection on kind of toxic relationships there.
Mhm.
And also it seemed like with the
I think
Jack
it was like putting an independent woman. Like, it was one of those movies where I actually enjoyed the woman protagonist, where it wasn't done poorly.
It
was done
wasn't
very, very well.
girl boss for you. You kind of don't like
Pretty-
that, the kind of girl boss feminism type thing.
Yeah, it's like that's like a conversation that we have a lot. Is like we no, I have no problem with like a girl boss or female empowerment movie. I just don't like when it feels pandering.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one definitely does not do that.
Even in something I liked like She-Hulk, it kind of
You like that movie?
yeah, I like that show.
Oh.
Yeah, She-Hulk that show.
You saying you like that piece of shit?
It kind of borders on that, but I feel like that show, it was always consistent with the tone and the sense of humor that it was utilizing throughout.
Okay. Yeah. And with the Iris kind of character, you see her kind of coming into her own in this, and you know what I mean, breaking away from Josh. And like your partner was mentioning there, how she couldn't even shoot him at the end when she,
Mhm.
comes back there because, you know, that those memories are still connected to something, that,
Mhm.
she
Yeah,
still has this love for
yeah,
him and,
and
this
even
business.
Patrick says it's like because the robots, they have this built-in function where they cannot lie no matter how much they want to, even down to Iris like changing her language settings as she's about to get stopped by a cop, I think, to very great comedic effect. But even then, even though Patrick knows he's a robot, he still tells the very sweet and very kind of beautiful story about how he and Patrick met. And
Mm.
the whole thing is that even if it didn't happen, it's like your memory of it is still real.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, how it's like how Josh from the Real Pineapple feels about professional wrestling. It's like, it's real to me, damn it.
Yeah. It's the storytelling. It's the connection to
Yeah.
it, right? Which was there.
Which kind of as you get more into a relationship, the story of how you met, it becomes kind of this like rehearsed practice thing.
Yeah. And then speaking about kind of people who usually do have an issue with the whole kind of girl boss feminism
Mhm.
type thing, did it kind of seem like they were with the Jack Quaid character, like he was kind of a avatar for like an incel type guy? Is that the vibe you kind of got there with this character?
Yeah, very much so. I feel like Jack Quaid has done a fantastic job of playing against type, because you see him in stuff like The Boys and this other Netflix movie he did. I think it was called Plus One. He is really good at playing that nice guy, and then conversely, in stuff like Scream, he's really good at taking that archetype and putting it on its head and doing that very kind of weak, very self-entitled man child that he is. I mean, his introduction is to like the real story of how him and Iris met is the delivery guys, and he's opening up his apartment in his like gym shorts, blasting the Goo Goo Dolls. It's
Mm,
like, that's a douchebag if I ever saw one.
yeah. What is your partner? What does she have to say about that with the Jack Quaid character? Did you kind of see him as a little bit of like an incel type guy, or
Um. Oh yeah, definitely. I think he's like a loser
okay?
type. Like, wants to be in control of
Mhm.
like everything. Yeah, I definitely do not think of him as like anything good.
He,
Mm,
I mean,
It's really
it,
hard to.
I mean, it doesn't help that like the first time that we see any kind of intimacy between him and Iris, it's like the most horrific O face of my entire life. It's like seeing Dennis and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's horrifying.
oh, it did look like yeah, it did kind of look like that. Um,
The Golden God, no.
uh, yeah. And then so I kind of get that feeling because there's the scene you see in the teaser trailer, when they
Mhm,
sit down at the table, and then you see the scene where he's burning her arm. So there's a scene before that of what he's explaining of like he's got nothing in his life. It's like, life shits on
mhm.
me. I just wanted this win. I just wanted this, to have something good for me happen. Um, and he reveals he can't even actually own her actually as but he has to rent her. He's like it's a rental. He can't even actually own
That was the funniest. That was so funny to me. It was like, I don't even own you. You're a rental.
yeah, he got to pay a
Like,
monthly subscription.
First off, you know what? No, I'm not gonna go into that line of thinking because that's really gross, and I don't want to get us, banned.
Yeah. Um, and so and also I want to get into some nitpicks I had with I talked about
Mm,
this a little bit during the review. But so, like you said, he's able to actually, mod her and change all her settings
mhm,
and do all this stuff. So his whole plan, you get to where it's the very end of the film where most of the people are dead by at this point, where the
mhm,
cat girl is dead,
mm.
Eli is dead, so they're dead. The Sergey is definitely he was the first one to go. Um,
There's a cop's dead body in the trunk of the police car outside.
there's the dead cop. So the plan at the end was he was gonna have her kill herself, and
Mm,
then the people that actually make these robots are gonna come pick her up, and then he's gonna tell the whole story that she went crazy and something went wrong with her system, and then she killed this guy, and then everything, and they were gonna take off with Sergey's money. So when they pick up the robot, the people who own the robot, the company behind it, they say that, "Oh, well, don't have to worry about all her because this robot's able to record 24/7 audio and video, and that
mm,
all that stuff is down where her kind of stomach is and her intestines, kind of where her intestines are. That's where all the kind of data is stored from
mm.
when she records and everything like that." And he was like, "Oh, really? Really? They have that?" And it's like it seemed like a guy that's able to like hack and mod her should
Well,
be able to know that information, and especially since
well,
somebody who's been
well,
planning this
well,
out.
converse. Well, conversely, I mean, I put mods in like video games I play on my PC. That doesn't mean I'm like a master hacker.
Mm. But it seems
And
like
they imply that there's like this whole market of the internet where they modify the robots, and even it's like a common thing that even as the two techs are wheeling Iris's body out, they ask like, what do you think really happened? Oh, he modded her 100%. This guy's fucked.
yeah. Was that an issue for you? What's your partner's name? I'm sorry. What's her name again?
Yeah, yeah. What do you think about like the whole plan with Jack Quaid? But to me, I think it's kind of indicative of his character is that he has this very high opinion of himself and this very high ego, but really, he's a fucking idiot.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think he just kind of assumed that they would just without a doubt just believe him just because, oh, it's just another robot that malfunctioned or something. I mean, I think that part, yeah, that part was just kind of like, I thought it was just like funny. I don't know, a little. I wish it could be better. I don't know how I would make it better.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
think at towards the end though, like when they like he makes her shoot herself
Mhm.
in the head, and then turns out her components weren't even in her head. I think
They even said that yeah, all of this was covered in the user agreement, and we see he just like wheels it. He's like trying to
yeah, how
wrap this up to get to fucking the robot.
like he thinks and I think that shows how much more of an incel he is because he thinks of himself so highly.
Mhm.
Like he thinks he's some I don't know. He thinks he's like
He thinks
cute, like
he
the
thinks he's
smartest
God. He
person.
thinks he's God's gift to mankind
Yeah, he
for
does. Yeah.
being a white dude with a below average size penis, as Iris said,
Yeah.
and and who
Yeah.
just loves complaining about what the world owes him.
Yeah.
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 So I guess I could buy that. Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe I'll let this. Like I said, it's just a nitpick, so it's not a big thing to drag the movie down. Another
I
thing,
mean, I think when it comes to science fiction, I think we as an audience want to assume the characters in it are, smarter because they play with technology that, isn't far off from where we are today, but is still more advanced than what we have. But really, like this and even a show like Black Mirror is like we're still dumb people.
yeah. And like I said, I mean, nobody reads the user agreement to anything. So that is, I mean, your phone could be, doing that shit already.
Oh yeah,
And then,
oh yeah, it's listening to it as we speak. I'm
yeah,
gonna turn my phone to before I go to bed. I'm probably gonna get like 5 different companion ads.
yeah. As Hunter said, is this
Mhm.
comparable to Lisa Frankenstein slash Her? So yeah, Lisa
Uh,
Frankenstein.
Not so much Lisa Frankenstein because I feel like this movie it's kind of like a more lighthearted version of something like Ex Machina,
Mm,
where both of those movies are about like this this allegory for a victim of abuse reclaiming their own independence.
mm, okay. Yeah, and Her, I get the. I mean, Her was more kind of a sweeter story about
Mhm,
companionship and loneliness, and a guy just kind of looking for connection, and how that can kind of be seen, and something like that. Like you don't need that really so much, and yes, that's kind of really what more Her was about. I mean, this movie has a more cynical look at that. Like the guy's not looking really that much for actual connection or intimacy. I mean, he wants just a intimacy. He wants it in just a physical manner, not really so much an
mhm,
emotional, spiritual manner. Um, and the other issue I had, another nitpick was just that, um, with her intelligence. So she, takes his phone where
mhm.
he's able to, play with all her settings, and so she can go into the Iris app of herself and then change our voice, do all that stuff, and then she is able to max out her intelligence where he had it at 40%. She went up to 100%. Did you
that
expect
40% was like insulting.
did you expect more when she did that? Like, do you think that
I, I mean,
you know
even the like tech that dropped her off said that yeah, there are limits, of course, to how smart we can make them. So 100% is basically just an Ivy League graduate.
Mm, okay. So yeah, you didn't expect
And
her to do
just look at Congress. There are plenty of Ivy League grads that are fucking idiots.
yeah. So you thought her plan was pretty good of like, because her whole plan when she did that,
On paper, it's actually a solid plan.
you know, get in the
It's just
car.
even in
Yeah.
the heat of the moment, brain doesn't often work that well.
Mm, okay. Did she have a problem with that? Was that an issue for her at all?
Uh, yeah, what did you think about Iris's like plan to get away?
Oh, like how she was gonna like go back
Yeah, back.
to the house.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a funny
with the
montage
car.
of like all the possible plans and how
Oh yeah, like
and
oh yeah,
how they
all
would
the
go wrong.
yeah. Uh, I thought it was just yeah. I thought it was just like a funny part of the movie where like oh she's going through this like oh all these scenarios, but then she's just ending up dead at every single one of them. Anyways, I thought it was good. I thought it was like funny. I thought it did what it had to do,
Okay.
kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. But I mean, hey, those were just some small issues I had with it. I think it's a strong movie. I think people should check it out.
Mhm.
If they
Yeah,
can.
even as because I'm hesitant to give this movie this cinema, but every problem I have with it is basically just a nitpick. It is something like that. Like I wish we could have spent more time with Eli and Patrick just to get more of a sense of their dynamic before it all goes wrong. But that's not the kind of movie this is.
Yeah. I
I,
wish.
I think I
Oh,
just don't really. I don't think I could put it cinema because it's something like it's a theme I've seen before,
Mhm.
and like it really did. It didn't really surprise me how it ended. Like how questioning how oh what makes humans human like who is an AI who can feel things can like is that it are their feelings valid.
Mhm.
I think I've that's the only
yeah.
thing with the movie like I've seen this like this same themes before.
Mhm.
It's good, it's just
Mhm.
You've seen these
It,
themes retreaded a lot in other things.
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a very common theme, especially with science fiction, with the way technology develops even today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can yeah, the feelings of the machine and what are feelings, what are emotions,
Mhm.
what makes a human being human, and yeah. I mean, it doesn't it doesn't cover new ground in that way, but I think
Mhm.
it executes it really well. It does execute
Yeah,
it well.
if Black Mirror wants to take these themes and make you feel nothing but existential dread, this wants you to take you out, have a good time.
Yeah. And I do wish we spent a little bit more time with the flashback of just like because you don't understand why necessarily you don't get the full sense of why Jack Quaid's character is the way he is. So I will
Mhm.
also say that. But peaks all around for companion.
Yeah,
Um,
it was a damn good movie. I was pleasantly surprised. I'd be very shocked if we see 5 other horror movies that are better than this year.
yeah.